It's time to mind your business with me, Jamillah Lodge. Tune in to find out how to mind your business with BEDC, special guest entrepreneurs, industry experts, and more. Brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda business starts here. So, welcome to Mind Your Business.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm your host, Jamillah Lodge, and of course, you're Rachel Wilks. You are a chef and owner of Two Fish in a Barrel.
Yes.
Okay. I'm
right.
excited because I love eating. But no, before we get into
Thank you for having us.
Of course.
Totally forgot my lipstick. I'm sorry. I saw your beautiful lipstick. I messed up today.
Listen, and it's literally when I record the show is when I put on the lipstick. Outside of that, I'm like, you're getting what you're getting. But no worries. Before we get started to talk about the company, let's find out a little bit more about you. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I'm originally from the States, from the West Coast. West Coast is the best coast.
Yeah.
My journey started over there. Ended up going to culinary school on the West Coast, and then that sort of took me along some travels, and I ended up in New York City for about 7 years before I came here, and I've been in Bermuda for about 12.
Okay.
I'm one of those that thought I would come here for a year, and met my husband.
Yep. Same.
Here we are.
12 years
I
later,
wouldn't
right?
have it any other way. I absolutely adore this island with every ounce of my soul.
Oh, I love that. So what made you decide on Two Fish in a Barrel?
It was kind of an interesting path in that when I first started working here, I was at Port-o-Call, between serving and managing, and then ended up at Burroughs Lightbourne for a few years. But through my entire adulthood, my house was always the house that people would come over and know that something was on the stove.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was after I left Burroughs Lightbourne, and I actually commercial fished with my husband for a little while, and it was kind of like, maybe I could do this. Maybe I could actually do dinner parties or do some corporate catering, because in New York I had event planning experience and with corporate catering. I thought, maybe this is something that I could actually do and create, these platters of sandwiches and charcuterie boards and that kind of thing. So it started as something like that, and it's grown into so much more.
Really?
So much more.
So let's talk about the more.
So literally, I think it was about a week after I got the business license, we went into lockdown.
I know.
So this whole concept of corporate catering basically fell completely flat,
right?
Because nobody was meeting in the office anymore, right? Everybody switched over to Zoom. I mean, Hamilton was basically closed for a very long time. So then so I just kept on fishing, and just kind of kept on that path for a while. And then once things started releasing a little bit and people could go out, it was this really interesting year, I would say, where a lot of people, they had a little bit of money left over because they hadn't been traveling.
Right, we hadn't been shopping or any of that. They weren't going out
to eat. They weren't going out to shop. So they were like, you know what? For my 40th birthday this year, I can have 10 people over, and I'm going to do the whole thing. I'm going to do the 4-course dinner with the canapes and the wine tastings and theme this, theme that, and I can spend the money on it because I have a little extra, and I don't have to worry about going to a restaurant and wearing a mask or showing my, whatever COVID card.
Yeah. Remember that?
I know, that apocalyptic time.
I know.
So that's how it kind of started. Instead of doing this corporate thing, I started doing a lot more of this, private catering. And within a matter of a couple of years, then the word started spreading, and then it was like, oh, well, I'm having a corporate party at the office. Can you do 30 people? Oh, now we're on a boat. Can you do 50 people? And it just kept going. And it was a couple of years ago where then I started really thinking, well, the dream really, since culinary school and probably before, because my journey starts when I was 14 as a dishwasher, was wanting to have that brick and mortar. And so I started actively looking for a space that could not only act as a more central kitchen for catering, but then also just having that brick and mortar has always been a dream. And so we opened beginning of May.
Oh, that is so exciting. Yeah. So where are
Exciting is one word.
For you, it's a lot of work. Right? But no, to actually come full circle, like you said, at 14, maybe this is the dream that you had. So to actually be able to make it
and
come
I think
true.
Bermuda has given me that opportunity. I really believe that every day. And I look around as stressful as it can be and as overwhelming as it can be. And, you know, there's every second of every day, I feel like you're making, you know, tons of micro decisions. There's just a constant barrage of things to decide on and to do and to actively participate in, you know, especially the first month felt like my brain, it was something out of a cartoon where it was just buzzing the whole time, the whole day. And as overwhelming as that all can be sometimes, I still look around every single day and have to pinch myself. Like,
really?
Wow, look at these
You've been
people.
like, I did this.
Look at these people sitting in the booth eating my food, you know. It's a wild experience. But everything that I've done in 23 years has led me to this point.
It seems that way.
You just have to keep driving forward and eventually. And I think that's quite an American mindset probably. And, you know, just keep on working and you can get it done. But actually, I think that this is kind of proof that you can.
If you do it, then you can.
The difference between people doing it and not doing it is doing it.
And the food industry in Bermuda is not easy.
No.
It is not easy. Now, I also heard you say something about fishing.
Yes.
Now, is that a skill that you came to Bermuda with?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No.
What?
No, when I met my husband, I knew nothing about boats. I could barely swim. I couldn't put a mask on my face. Certainly couldn't dive. And in a matter of a few years, you know, the deepest I've ever actually freed of was 48 feet.
Wow.
So
that is
he taught
impressive.
me a lot. And commercial fishing, you know, you're out there, they're long days. You're talking 3 o'clock in the morning to often 8 o'clock in the evening. And it's some of the hardest work I think anybody could ever experience. But you learn quickly, but it's heavy work.
Yeah,
it's heavy
it
work.
is.
Yeah.
And you did it.
And I was the fittest I've ever been.
Well, that was one benefit, right? No, but okay, so commercial fishing and then to fish in a barrel. Yeah. So you are able to source your product.
Okay, all
right. I'll just be quiet.
We've had a recent development in that our commercial fishing boat was struck by lightning. Did you not know that was us?
Are you serious?
Yeah, that was our commercial fishing boat. So 2 weeks ago today, actually, we had a pretty severe thunderstorm here that came right down over Hamilton, and our boat was moored in Fairylands, and the fighting chair, would you believe, got struck by lightning, and it immediately went up into flames.
Are you serious?
Yeah, so it was a total loss. We lost absolutely everything.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's been an interesting couple of weeks for
my family. I can imagine.
Yeah.
Nobody was hurt though.
Nobody was hurt, and that's what's pretty.
Thank God.
It's hard to even put it into words how you know, everybody says God works in mysterious ways, and whether you believe in that higher power or something else. But we have a 4-year-old son who's obsessed with fishing, and he's been off, you know, nursery and school for the month, and he had gone fishing with my husband Alex the day before. They had a long day. They had a cooler full of fish, and that morning of the storm, they were actually on their way to the boat. They had their shoes on. They were ready to go. And something was delayed. They were delayed by, you know, just a random circumstance, and then the storm came through, and they said, you know what, we're just going to wait it out.
Yeah.
But they realistically should have been on that boat.
Oh
yeah. So to know that they were safe. I mean, there was a moment in my life there when I got the phone call, because I got it from another person saying that our boat was on fire, and there was a moment in my life where I wasn't sure if my
you were like, where are my husband and my child?
Yeah. So
oh my God, Rachel.
So, you know, we can get another boat, and I'd love to share with you our journey and how that's going to happen. But the fact that they were safe means absolutely everything.
Oh my God. I'm like, oh my God.
I know. I think I've cried enough tears in the last couple of weeks to fill the Atlantic, the whole of Sargasso Sea.
Right. I can imagine. Jeez.
Yeah.
And run a business on top of that.
So, you know, the last few months, right? I mean, the last year in creating this space and renovating this space at 10 Dundonald Street, and opening it up, and you know, getting our feet on the ground, and just the stress and all of that, and then this happened, and that boat obviously was fueling the cafe for our fish. It's very, you know, 2 fish in a barrel. Of course. It's focused on local fish and just local ingredients in general. So our world has really been rocked in the last few months. But I don't know. There's something to be said about that lightning striking the fighting chair. What are you going to do, right? What are you going to do with this situation? Because if you can't keep asking why, you'll die before you get the reason. We can't ask why. Things just happen, and they were safe, and I'm still standing on my own 2 feet.
You sure are.
And so. Anyways.
Okay, so we're not getting the fish from that boat.
Not for the last 2 weeks.
Okay.
The fishing community here, again, Bermuda, right? It's just, there's something about this little island, and everybody's come together. I actually said this to somebody the other day, that in some really, really beautiful way, the last couple of weeks, it's almost like being able to witness your own funeral.
Really?
You get to see these people that you have touched in all circles of your life, that come and support you and have given you love, and how can we help, and giving donations, and it's actually really strangely beautiful what we've gotten to experience. And we are actually hosting a very large fundraiser at the cafe on this coming Sunday.
Oh!
So Sunday the 31st, we have gotten permission to use Master's parking lot as well for a full-on kids zone.
Okay.
So we have bouncy castles, face painting, popcorn, snow cone.
Okay, exciting.
A massive silent auction inside of the cafe. So we've gotten probably 20 prizes so far, including ones like a cruise on El Zorro with a wine tasting.
The big boat.
The big boat. The nice boat.
Okay.
Yeah. A piece of jewelry from David Rose.
Oh, nice.
Even somebody came in yesterday and donated a couple Bermuda rose plants. So it's a lovely mix of auction items. So Sunday's our day. We're going to try to raise some funds towards a new commercial fishing boat. And just celebrate the community that has given us so much love in the last couple of weeks.
I love to hear that. Yeah. And you know what I mean? It makes you feel like you're not alone, that people understand, because it could have been anybody, right?
Been anybody. And again, can't ask why it was us. We
just
have to
accept that that's how it was.
And move on.
Yeah. And that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing.
So, and we do have another boat that my husband can use for a little bit. So he's just working on that now until we get on our feet. So don't worry, we'll still have local fish in the restaurant.
So you can still come eat.
The password to our Wi-Fi is actually local fish only, because that's what we do there. That's what we do there. You will never see me buying frozen wahoo.
Oh, I love that. And we, surprisingly, we need it, right? I feel like Bermudians, they know the fishermen, they have their fishermen, they know who they go to, and before you know it, before you can get there, the fish is gone. Yeah. And so for people coming in, they're always asking, like, where can I get local fish? Where can I get local? You know what I mean? So I think that it's nice to have a place that's dedicated to that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of other things on the menu too. We have some beautiful salads, and we have ties with a few different local farmers. So anything I can get my hands on, honestly. Okay. A lot of our salad greens, obviously any sort of vegetable that's growing seasonally. So we work with a lot of local farmers, and honey. I mean, even something as simple as that, right?
Yeah.
We're using local honey.
So why? Was that on purpose? Is that like part of what you intended to do when you created this business? The sustainability, the local.
Yeah, I think it's something that's definitely lacking here in this sort of farm to table experience. Yeah. And I have a few aha moments in my career and my travels, and I lived in New York and where I worked, where for example, I went to Boston once and did this. I think it was an 8-course tasting menu, and they actually had a farm, 50 miles outside of the city, and all of the vegetables on that whole entire tasting menu was actually from their farm. And so it's experiences like that, and then being on this island thinking, gosh, there's a little bit of touches here, like somebody puts Tucker's goat's cheese on a pizza or something, but to really have that as a central goal of your menu, I just didn't feel I could find that very often, unless there were special dinners. I know the Lauren, for example, has some really lovely chefs that come in and they create these menus out of local products. But I just feel like as a daily menu, it was something that there was definitely a niche for.
So, and I think you're right, because, I'm American too. So when my friends come to visit and everything, they're always like, well, where can I get local fish? And so some places, you're like, okay, they usually have local fish, but a lot of times it's a mix, right? And you just never know which is which unless you ask and if they're honest.
Exactly. And I mean, it's a small space, right?
Yeah.
And the other interesting thing about this location, because people have come in and asked, do you do fish dinners, which is, let's say a little mac and cheese and
Yeah.
some coleslaw or peas
Yeah.
and rice or whatever. But it's not a fully vented kitchen. So think of it more of as a residential kitchen that's just kitted out with stainless steel.
Okay.
So we don't have a giant deep fryer where we're doing fried fish and all of that. So, every once in a while we can put on a special for, some grilled fish or just a little bit because we have a little tabletop fryer. So we can do little bits and pieces here. But, again, like I said, it's a small spot. We've got a couple beautiful dishes that are centered, like our fish tacos.
Yeah, I was going to say, tell me.
Fish po' boy sandwich. Those have fish in it, our fish chowder. But, we have these other salads, too, and chicken skewers and beef sliders.
Okay.
Or beef sliders or something.
I might
talked about. Yeah, bacon jam, black rum barbecue sauce. Let's go.
Okay. I was gonna ask you, what as a classically trained chef, what is your signature dish or the dish you're most proud about?
It's really interesting. I feel like it's a question that gets asked a lot when you're a chef. People, oh, you're a chef. Oh,
yeah.
What is that? And I can honestly say the ones that I've gotten. I don't think I have a favorite dish that I've ever created, but I would say the one dish that I feel like I get the most feedback on, that people, give me that response to are tacos, and that stems very much from growing up on the West Coast.
I was gonna say,
we do them with corn tortillas over there.
Yep.
In Mexico, you will never see a flour tortilla; it doesn't exist.
Right.
In fact, when I traveled to Mexico once, in Spanish, I would ask them, are these made from corn? Because a lot of people don't know I actually can't eat gluten.
Oh, okay.
So there's a lot of gluten-free things on the menu. Often you wouldn't even know that some of my food is gluten-free because I don't usually talk about it. But I would say, are these tortillas made from corn? And they kind of look at me like,
what else would they be made of?
that's our, it'd be like asking somebody here, is there a fish sandwich made from fish?
Right. They're like,
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So anyways, I feel like that's, again, something in Bermuda that doesn't really exist are those corn tortilla tacos. Mm-hmm. And so we're doing those at the cafe with, with fresh guacamole, with fresh salsa, a little Baja sauce, which is like a sour cream based sauce, and then of course fresh fish. We often use wahoo because we have so much of it, right? So.
Yeah. Delicious. You're making me hungry. I have not had my breakfast. So.
Welcome to the club.
Listen. And you're thinking avocados, of course. I'm sure you're going to get plenty, right? Because
we just got a huge crate full of local avocados.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure because we have a tree
season.
and it's.
Yeah.
Whenever I see the flowers and whenever I see the avocados, I'm like, we're gonna have a hurricane.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. But all of that. In fact, I had a guy just call me saying, "I've got a bunch of avocados. Would you like some? Come on over."
Yeah.
So he came in the next morning, and I've had a few experiences. For example, our electrician, when we were building, and doing the construction in there, we were talking about marinated oranges, and he's like, "Yeah, I've got this sour orange tree, and I just don't know what to do with it." And
I know you were like,
I do.
It's like,
I know. I make a marinade for our steak tacos with orange juice, and I can have so things like that. It's actually really, really sweet when you start talking to people, and they have a surplus of lemons growing right now or something, and I'm hey, come in, I'll buy you lunch if you bring me a bag of fresh citrus. Please let me buy
free
you lunch.
Free tacos for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I love it. So, okay, you and your husband obviously are a team. He was a fisherman. So how is that dynamic with this business?
I think it's in any husband-wife duo, right? When you're working so closely together, I think the answer to that question really is it comes down to the cafe and what is happening there and the restaurant industry in general. We're really two ships passing in the night right now.
Okay.
It's the hours of, oftentimes he's fishing all day.
Right.
And then he comes home, I come home late. It's like take care of our son, whose name's Hunter. So take care of Hunter and get into bed, and then tomorrow you do it all over again. So right now, the demands, I think, of both of those businesses are so high that
it is what it is for now.
It is what it is.
Yep.
It is what it is. Yeah. But
not forever,
but it's so
now.
beautiful. It's so beautiful to have that story, and I think it adds to the whole appeal of coming into the space, or whether it's catering or whether you're coming into the cafe. Is just that, it's not just me saying, "Oh, we get local fish." I was able to use that and actually say, no, we have a commercial fishing boat. The fish comes from my husband. And that, like I said, we'll get another boat. That will continue to happen, and that will remain part of our story.
Yeah.
But it does make it extra special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would imagine that anytime you can spend that much time with your partner, it's like they already know you, they know what your needs are, so you can kind of support each other.
Yeah.
Even though you're working hard, like you said, you're
I know he misses me coming fishing with him. I mean, there's been a couple days, it's like, come on, throughout the summer when the marlin tournaments, and I'm like, those little time off I have, oftentimes I'm just so tired.
You just want to
so
sleep.
Tired, I can't even fathom being out there in the heat, because I know what it entails. Right? I know what it entails, so I actually just want air conditioning for like 2 hours.
Right. Let me just lay down, right? Watch a couple of Netflix shows. But no, I love to hear that. So I want to ask you a little bit more about your origin story. So you said you grew up on the West Coast.
Yeah, I grew up in Washington State.
Okay.
Yeah, right close to the mountains. So I grew up camping in the mountains every summer. And
fishing isn't a far stretch, kind of.
Not really. I mean, I think my parents had a boat when they were first married. So I think it's a little bit in my mom's blood because her dad had a boat. But no, we didn't grow up fishing. I mean, I didn't even eat fish until I was probably in culinary school, really. I mean, I just had no interest. My mom, I don't think my mom ever knew how to cook it. So when she did, it was not the greatest. Sorry, Mom.
She loves you.
Sorry, Mom. You're a much better cook with the fish now. In fact, every time they come to visit, they cannot wait to eat fish.
Really?
It's so delicious. It's fresh.
It's fresh.
We bring the barbecue out on the boat sometimes and catch fish, cut it right there, and eat it right there. I mean, there's nothing like that.
And that's a whole experience in itself.
You cannot beat that food experience, Yeah.
That is pretty cool. So I was going to ask you, like, how frequently do you get a chance to go home, or do they get to come here?
I haven't been home in quite a long time.
Yeah.
It's hard, right? And I think when you're working full time and as a busy mom, or we all have such full schedules when you own your own business, and so you have such limited time off, and you have to make that decision: do I go somewhere new and interesting, or do I go back and to my comfort, to my family? And it's a hard call. So I'm really, really grateful that my parents are able to come over at least once a year. A year and a half or so. So they just came actually in November. So
nice.
Yeah, so I'm grateful that they can come here.
And I'm sure they love it too, right? They're like, Bermuda.
Oh gosh, we gotta go visit our daughter
again. Whatever will we do? But how old is Hunter?
So he's 4.
Okay, so that in itself is like a whole thing. Like you have a 4-year-old and this business and you're chefing in the kitchen. Like what? How are you doing that?
I don't know. I say to a lot of people I'm taking it day by day, but sometimes I feel like it's minute by minute. It's hard, especially right? Since the cafe started, I wake up every day and I have to just think, okay, what do we need to do right now?
Yeah.
Because if I start looking even at what I need to do tomorrow, is when you're like, oh.
You get overwhelmed, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
So right now it's very much I'm just plodding along. I'm plodding along and just hoping that all of these steps take me to, the next part of this journey. And it's also made me very mindful of my time with Hunter. So when I do get those times off, and even if it's just a morning, even if it's just 1 hour,
right? I'm
very mindful about it, and it's beautiful actually.
Yeah.
I cherish our time together a lot more.
Oh,
yeah.
I love that. But it's not easy, right?
Miss him all the time.
I know. So, okay, the business is relatively new. And so I guess for you, what do you vision it to be? What is it when you have your time and you could do whatever it is you want? What is 2 fish in a barrel, let's say in 5 years?
In 5 years, the ultimate goal actually is to expand even further, and that farm to table experience, and looking for a property where we could have
the actual farm
and the dining experience. So that's something that's a long-term goal. But for now, it's just getting the cafe really up and running. We're still the lunches, actually, we have a solid lunch crew, but you know, there's always areas that you can build as a new business, and things that you thought would be really successful aren't as successful. So then it's readjusting your goals, and where can we get all of these aspects successful so that it's successful as a whole. And then once you have a little bit extra, then you can start saying, okay, well, now I can hire a cafe manager, for example, and so that I don't necessarily have to be going in there 100 hours a week now. Maybe I can go down to 99.
Yeah. Exactly. I can reclaim my 1 hour.
1 hour. I finally got it. But yeah, it's just, I know that right now this is it. This is the hard months where you're putting in some time
to make sure that it works.
It's worth it.
But yeah, I was going to say the feedback, I'm sure you get to see, like you said, when you see the people's faces.
Yeah, when somebody looks up at you and says, this is the best thing I've put in my mouth in years, you're like, wow,
I did that.
That was me. That's cool. I mean, as well as everybody else on the team that makes it happen, and actually executing it. But it's a very, very special feeling in it, and I'm very, very lucky to have been given the opportunity. You know, I've had investors behind me that have given me that opportunity, and I wouldn't be here without them. So, just gotta keep on.
Keep making the delicious things, and then it will happen. So let's talk a little bit about the team, right? Because I know in a lot of conversations I have with owners, part of the challenge is finding the right team to help bring your vision to reality. What was your experience like, and how did you do it?
Oh man, that's a heavy topic, because I think a lot of it gets a bit political when you're talking about staffing here in Bermuda, and a lot of restaurant owners and coffee shop owners and cafe owners in here. And then it was always, before I started, they're going, ooh, you're going to have a brick and mortar? Oh, good luck, and because the pot is smaller here. We don't have 500,000 people that are waiting at the door for certain jobs. And so absolutely coming into it, it was something that I feared. And, for example, we have Bermudian team through and through. Our front of the house team is fully Bermudian. And, everybody else, like, we're all moms. We all have kids. And so I was saying the other day, I said, I'm kind of fearful of September because all their kids go back to school. And then we're all going to be dealing with sickness. So we're going to have each other's back because so-and-so's going to have to be out. So-and-so, we're going to have to work hard to have each other's back. But there's something also really beautiful in that, and bringing back this Bermudian hospitality. And when we get, we've had a few reviews on Magislist or people have sent me emails, and they've said the food is great, but the customer service was exceptional. And so it's creating that team. We did some team building right at the start before we opened the cafe. That included an ocean cleanup, or a beach cleanup, sorry. Because it's something that I'm obviously very passionate about, and the brand is kind of centrally around. So we did that. We did, we went up to Watson's farm and had a little tour on the farm to see what grows and how it grows, and then just recently we were also together. The whole team got to be together. So I think it's creating space to allow that to happen. But also being understanding, and that we all have our own lives. But, getting a work permit and all of that, it is an extra step of work, right? And as a small business starting up, I had to make that decision as to how much money can I even allot to work permits, because that money could be better spent elsewhere. So can I find that team here? And so far I have.
That's great.
But it is work every day because everybody has their own families here and their obligations here, and so it's definitely a challenge. It's a challenge that I face every day and that I will continue to face. But I'm really, really proud of who's on the team. Yeah. I'm really, really proud of that, and that people get to walk in those doors and really feel like they're home.
Right. And I appreciate that because, like you said, even though it's more expensive, it can sometimes be seen as an easy way out to get a work permit, right? Because this person...
And it's needed.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just not enough people here, And
that's the reality.
Absolutely, I'm in the process right now, too, for one. So it's like, it's necessary.
Right.
It's necessary, but
I appreciate the fact that you are taking, to me, it sounds like your entire business model centers around local.
Exactly. And
right?
That's why that was important to me.
Right.
That's why that was important to me, even if it means that one of our mamas has to stay home.
Yeah, with their
on
baby.
the Tuesday because their baby's sick.
Right.
And it puts extra pressure on me because there have been days I feel like an octopus, right?
Yeah.
20 minutes I'm cooking and then I jump out to do a little bartending and then 20 minutes I'm on the paperwork.
Right.
I'm all over the place. But also I'm lucky that I have that experience. I have that well-rounded experience, so I can cover wherever necessary.
Right.
So, but we'll see. Check back in September. Check back in September. We'll see how we're doing with that. Yeah.
So, believe it or not, it's been 30 minutes, right? It goes so quick.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you about the name.
So, Two Fish in a Barrel was one of those 2:00 in the morning thoughts years ago, and I couldn't get out of my head, and I couldn't think of anything else. So the two fish. So that's my husband and I.
Oh.
So because we love diving and fishing, anything on the water, underwater. He loves his barrel of black rum, and I like my barrel of wine.
Okay.
So, that's us swimming in our barrels.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that. So I want to remind everybody where the cafe is.
Yes.
And the hours of operation.
10 Donald Street. We're right across from Masters on the bottom floor of the condo building. We are open Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday from 7:30 to 3. And then Thursday and Friday, 7:30 till 7. Sometimes a little bit later for that little happy hour run. And just a reminder, too, that Sunday we have this large community event on, a big fundraiser between the Masters parking lot and our cafe to help raise funds for a new commercial fishing boat as ours was struck by lightning.
Yes. Oh, my God. No one was hurt. Thank God.
No one was hurt.
Well, listen, Rachel, it has been a pleasure speaking with you. I'm really excited. I'm looking forward to trying. I haven't been yet, so I am.
We're just around the corner.
Yes,
you are.
Literally, trust me. I will be doing that going forward. But I just want to say thank you again. Thank you
for having me. Thank you for having me.
And please do come back as you make expansions, as you do the things that you said, and if we can help you in any way, especially identifying places like as soon as you said having the farm and that we have this project that we've been working on that it could possibly, but I'm happy to put you in touch with our team as you look for expanding when you're ready.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Well, listen, we have minded our business today. And remember, if you don't mind your business, who will? So
Thanks.
Thanks for tuning in to Mind Your Business with me, your host, Jamillah Lodge. Tune in next week, Thursday at 4 p.m. because if you don't mind your business, who will? Mind Your Business is brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda Business starts here.